had planned to create a fun video about the life of Queen Nefertari, but unfortunately I had to change my plans. Passage tombs in Ireland are being vandalized, and even though it's been reported and they're trying to stop the vandalism, it's still ongoing and they're ruining ancient heritage that we can never get back. Carvings are being destroyed by graffiti. People are digging inside tombs in hopes to find treasures, and the level of disrespect some people are showing for their ancestors' oldest pieces of tangible history is just mind-blowing. I wish I didn't have to make this video, but I do. Preservation of ancient sites is incredibly important to me. And who am I if I don't take the time to talk about what's been lost in the past 2 years? Before I go into the vandalism, I would like to say a massive thank you to Anthony Murphy from Mythical Ireland, who has been reporting and sharing articles on the vandalisms on his Facebook group, Mythical Ireland. Because of him, I've been made aware of the vandalism that happened in the past year and a half. And it saddens me that today I am among the bearers of bad news, as there has been yet another tomb vandalized. First, let's take a look at the vandalism that happened in the year 2020. At least 21 acts of vandalism to historic sites were reported across Ireland. The repairs of these vandalisms are going to cost at least €12,500, and that's just looking at the year 2020. We've already been in 2021 for over 7 months, and the vandalism and destruction hasn't stopped yet. The most extensive damage caused in 2020 was to the Neolithic tombs in County Sligo, which is home to 75 passage tombs, 1/3 of the total of 240 passage tombs in the entirety of Ireland. On the Ballygawley mountains, the passage tomb known as the House of the Witch Cailleach Bheara got vandalized by people in search for hidden chambers or treasures, and so much material had been removed from the cairn that an adult can now lie in the hole that's been created. These people are looking for these things under the misguided notion that valuables can be found. Meanwhile, all there is to be found is ancient ash and maybe some pieces of bone or pottery fragments. Some people actually believe there are valuable gold or bronze objects hidden away in these ancient monuments. But what these people forget is that these ancient monuments predate the use of metals, as they are more than 5,000 years old. The Department of Heritage had the National Monument Service inspect the passage tomb in Ballygawley after it had suffered damage in 2019. Unfortunately, these latest reports show that there has been further damage done to the site, which, mind you, is in a very remote location. On top of the Knocknarea mountain sits Queen Meath's Cairn, which has been suffering ongoing damage, including the removal of stones from the base of the monument and what's being called walking scars from people walking on top of the cairn. The County Sligo cairns have suffered a lot of walking scars damage as well. These tombs are much smaller and a lot more fragile than Queen Meath's Cairn. A couple even chose to stay inside one of the tombs a few years ago, with straw bedding, leaving tins of beans and their washing line on site. The actual audacity that some people have to disrespect these ancient sites in this manner, it's absolutely beyond me. Unfortunately, the walking scars aren't the only vandalism the County Sligo cairns has to deal with. There has been a significant increase of people scratching their names onto the monuments. This can potentially cause damage to the megalithic artworks that have been there for over 5,000 years. The complete lack of respect is just staggering to me, because who would do these things to these ancient monuments? People are actually stealing quartz from the cairns to sell online for a fucking quick buck. And pardon my French, but that's how I feel. People walking on top of cairns and dolmens are doing so much damage. Not only can they damage the interior and exterior, there is also the possibility of the cairn collapsing under the weight of the people, which could seriously injure the people dumb enough to do so. But even worse, in my personal opinion, is that they could damage these cairns beyond repair, making them not exist for future generations to be mesmerized by their beauty and craftsmanship. If vandalisms continue at this rate, they might even get lost to this current generation. Expert Dr. Robert Hensey warned that the very fragile landscape is under grave existential threat from tourism and development, as there is no comparable landscape anywhere else in the world. At Roscommon Castle, 2 doors to the Porta cabin were damaged on March 31, 2020, and in December 2020 the fencing at the castle was bent and broken beyond repair. At the Ballymoon Castle, dating from the 13th century, the information panel was stolen in June 2020, which kinda makes you wonder why anyone would steal an information panel belonging to a castle. Doesn't make any sense. The 6th century hill fort Grianan of Cailleach in County Donegal was vandalised in October 2020. The gate and padlock were removed from the site and the padlock was removed from the car barrier. Of course you can say a gate and padlock aren't the worst kind of vandalism, but it's about the respect for these ancient sites from the people doing this that is absolutely missing. The gates and locks are there for a reason. You're not allowed access, and it's to protect these sites from idiots who want to trespass, damage, or worse. On November 20th, at the Neolithic passage tomb of Douth in the Boyne Valley in County Meath, the entrance lock was cut with an angle grinder. At the Hill of Tara, the lock to the entrance of the ancient Mound of Hostages was cut on November 25th, 2020, and graffiti was left on the stone arch of Trim Castle in County Meath as well. Monkstown Castle's internal stonework was damaged by graffiti and a fire in early December 2020, and unfortunately the same has been done to the internal walls of Raheen Church at Braehead later in December. In County Wexford at Dunbrody Abbey, which is a monastery, vandals gained access to the site by cutting the iron grating gates. The Gardaí were called soon after. On the Hook Peninsula at the Tintern Abbey, people tried to gain access to the site, causing damage to the doors of this 800-year-old monument. The Loughcrew cairns I covered in a video last year are believed to be older than the Newgrange passage tomb, and they haven't been spared from the vandals either. In late April of 2021, just a few months ago, graffiti was scratched into one of the stones at Cairn U. This cairn dates back to 3200 BCE, and this particular stone held some wonderful Neolithic artwork that was carved onto the stone more than 5,000 years ago. This ancient piece of art has been defaced because apparently Ben thought that everyone should know that he was there. This to me is one of the most vile ways to vandalize an ancient site, because this megalithic artwork can't be repaired in its original state. You would honestly think that one such occasion of defacing ancient megalithic artwork is bad enough. But Kirsty thought that everyone should be aware that she visited the site in 2021, as she carved it not onto one piece of megalithic artwork, no, but two. These instances of graffiti being carved with stone onto the existing megalithic artwork, ruining the ancient art for future generations, and for what? I can't wrap my head around behavior like this, so I'm not even gonna try. I'm just gonna move on with the video. Before I start an entire rant, let's not do that. More carved graffiti has been found at Loughcrew as well, and some over ancient megalithic artwork. The visitor counter, the hilltop cabin, the signage and protective fencing to comply with the public health restrictions have been vandalized and removed as well. In response to this ongoing destructive behavior, the OPW has hired a security company to carry out patrols every single evening. In July 2021, the Kilmashog Wedge tomb in the Dublin Mountains was vandalized by spray-painted graffiti. I hope they can remove this without leaving a trace. Now it's time to look at the desecration done in County Sligo just a few days ago. During an inspection of the Cairn Namadhu and Castle Dargan passage tomb in Ballygawley, they discovered that the cairn had been seriously damaged during an illegal excavation. Neil Jackman, an archaeologist, said, "Whoever is carrying this out needs to stop. This is not an excavation. It is ransacking and desecration of a tomb and our shared heritage. All there could possibly be is small stone tools, broken fragments of pottery, and human remains." These vandals are not only trespassing property that isn't theirs, but they're also vandalizing and destroying ancient heritage. And by doing that, they are destroying pieces of ancient Irish history that in some cases cannot be repaired or replaced. The Sligo Neolithic Landscapes Group is pressing for the county's Neolithic heritage to be put on the list of World Heritage Sites by UNESCO. At this point in time, in 2021, more than 76 complaints of vandalism have been received by the National Monument Service in Ireland. they told news outlets that in a typical year they would receive between 100 and 120 of such reports, varying in severity of the vandalism. But to have 76 of them already in the first half of 2021 shows an increasing trend. In the entirety of Ireland, there are more than 145,000 recorded archaeological monuments in private and public ownership. Some of these monuments date as far back as 10,000 years ago. I already spoke about the most well-known monuments that got vandalized, but the vandalized monuments in total range from smaller ring forts, standing stones, rock art, enclosures, churches, graveyards, souterrains, crannogs, castles and large passage tombs. Being spray painted with graffiti, carved with graffiti, burnt, illegally excavated, things get taken and more. Illegal metal detecting has become a major worry as well. In the first half of 2021, 7 illegal metal detecting incidents have been reported. These reports included damage being done to national monuments. Under law, it is illegal to be in the possession of metal detectors at monuments and sites, or to dig or excavate for archaeological objects, an offence liable to fines up to €65,000 or up to 3 months imprisonment. Unfortunately, there's not much that I personally can do besides making this video, talking about the destruction and hopefully spreading awareness about the importance of these ancient monuments. These monuments were created by an ancient civilization living on the Irish Isles, and they've been of significant importance throughout the millennia. If the vandalism continues at this current rate, there won't be much to see for future generations. A crucial part of Irish history could be erased from the face of the earth, unrecognizable and unrepairable. For my viewers in Ireland, I implore you to start a petition, call the OPW, call the National Monument Service, and make it known that you want to see change. It might not do much, but in my personal opinion, all little things matter, even if it's only the thought that counts. Educate your children and grandchildren about the amazingly rich history your country has, and this doesn't only count for the people in Ireland, but this counts for everyone watching my videos. Spread the word of our amazing ancient past, and let's do our part in the preservation of these monuments, as it seems to start with just one thing, and that's respect. Because when that one thing is missing, we get vandals disrespecting these structures. For now, I will end the video here. I hope that I don't need to make a video like this in the future. I'm afraid I will. This video might not have been very enjoyable, and I'm sorry. My other videos are, and if you did enjoy watching or if you did enjoy this message, then please leave it a like. Leave a comment about what you thought was the most vile act of vandalism. Subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I upload. If you haven't seen my previous videos yet, then click the card in the upper right corner. The link's in the description down below. I put videos on playlists in the end card. Like I said, my channel is filled with fun content and very, informational content, not just like this and me being all mad and not very fun. I would like to say a massive thank you to my patrons. Richard, Barry, James, Scott, Floyd, Prabhu DC and NGC6543. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully we can spread the word. Hopefully changes will be made soon. And I'll see you in the next video where I'll be happy and bubbly as always.